Yes. Gotta love it. Getting dark way too early. What is going on today, guys? Welcome back. Am I the only one who hates this time of year just for the fact that it gets dark way too early outside? When you get home from work, all you want to do is just sit on the couch and not do anything. But we are back in the shop. It is Monday evening. Had a very busy weekend, but we have some work to do. Mainly, we got to get that bad boy back inside the 05. So that is the goal for this evening, to make some headway on the transmission back in the 05. We do have to flush out the cooler line, seeing that some stuff probably maybe made its way through there. So we're gonna go ahead and get that thing flushed out. We were making up this line over here so we can attach this to our AN line underneath here, fill that up with some solvent, blow that through with the air line, do that a bunch of times, and then run some transmission fluid out through it as well. So very important. If you guys do have a transmission issue, kind of sort of, that you think might have gone through stuff, you want to make sure you flush out your coolers. Huge thing, or otherwise all that stuff is going to go right back through your new transmission. So this weekend, guys, Saturday, this upcoming Saturday is the last and final event of this year. It actually was at NJDRP's shop. It is now moved to Island Dragway. They are expecting this thing to be pretty big. It's basically a dyno competition. The track is not open, so it's going to be a show, a dyno competition. Come hang out. It's going to be a great time. A lot of the same guys that we run with all year long, local-ish, are going to be there. So it's going to be a great show. Make sure you guys come out. I believe it starts at 10 o'clock. But in order to do that, we have to get this thing back on all fours, running, driving, tested. So that is what we are going to be working on. Final announcement of this evening. If you guys have not already seen all of the winter stuff from the Wrenchworks winter launch, make sure you guys head over to wrenchworks.com. We are going to be closing down that pre-order stuff within the next day or two, so we can get everybody's stuff out ASAP. So if you guys have not already, head over there. Check out all the new stuff. The jackets are awesome. The flannels are awesome. Make sure you guys get that stuff, because once we close the pre-order down, we will be ordering a little bit more, but not a lot. So if you guys want some of this stuff, now is the time to get it. That's it. All right. First up, we're going to flush the lines first before we stick our transmission underneath there. A little bit more room. So we're going to grab our flush line, start running this stuff. That way we can stab the transmission back up in there, get our converter on. Alrighty, like I said, step number one. We've got our big hose, we got it attached up there to our front line. Rear line, we've got a little extension hose on that back one draining in there. We've already pumped some air pressure through it to get all of the existing trans fluid out of there. So that's what all of this, that is. So we're gonna go ahead and do a bunch of cycles of cleaning stuff, get that rinsed through, put some transmission fluid through it, and then we will be good to start reassembly of. Alrighty, DIY trans cooler flush complete. Everything looks good there. Ran a bunch of transmission fluid back through it, so we are back to transmission fluid in the cooler and the lines. You can kind of see there, that's all the solvent and the new fluid. Up next on the list here, we're gonna pretty much kind of try and fly through this stuff so we can get this thing done. We're going to exchange out our flex plate for our awesome Suncoast one that the guys at Suncoast were so awesome enough to send us. So we're gonna go ahead and impact all these bolts off. Make sure you guys red Loctite on these babies. So I'm gonna do that. Take our flex plate out. I'll show you guys this one versus the Suncoast out there. And we're gonna go ahead and put the Suncoast one in, and then we will be all right, just like that, we have the old flex plate out. If you guys look down here, I did actually have converter bolts come loose once on me on this flex plate. So super happy that we now have this one. This one definitely an upgrade from the guys at Suncoast. This, again, the ring gear, completely solid, not a two-piece. As you can see on this one, you can kind of see that crease right there. And if you look right here, you can see it's kind of welded in a couple different places. So that would be the reason why this one is an upgrade. Both of them are SFI. We actually already have ARP hardware, so we're going to reuse that. Again, make sure you guys Loctite these. Torque to spec, I think these are pretty high. These are like a 90, 100, something like that. We'll have to look these up, but we're going to go ahead, slap on this, and then we will be ready to kind of get the transmission ready to get sat in there. I'm going to go ahead and put the transfer case on, get all of the brackets for the cross member up underneath on there, get those tightened up, and we'll go ahead and put this thing back up in there. I do have to kind of take down the pan, kind of clean that up a little bit, put that back up in there. So we're just going to keep moving along, try and knock this thing out tonight. All right, we are back under the truck. T-case is bolted up, got the converter all filled up with fluid. We are good to go. Just got to push it up in here, make sure it's set on our alignment dowels up there, and we are good to go. We'll get a couple bolts in, get those converter bolts tightened up, get the subframe back underneath here, get the drive shafts back in, and we will be back in business. Time is slipping away from us tonight. I am not going to lie. I'm not exactly sure where we're going to end up, but we are going to keep pushing on for a couple more hours at least. Of course. Rain again. All right, guys, we are buttoned up. The trans is completely done. A couple things. I don't have any ATF plus 4 here for the transfer case. The transfer case takes plus 4. We use Dexmerc 3 in the actual trans. So we have trans fluid. We just don't have trans fluid for the transfer case. But we'll roll under here quick. Just give you guys a little thing. You know, same thing as before. Transfer case. Trans, everything is good. One unfortunate thing about this used case that we got, which is no big deal, it is what it is. There's one hole on the other side that was definitely stripped out a little bit before we got it. It is tight, but hopefully does not give us any issues. But front drive shaft back in, everything is good. Like I said, all we really have to do is fill the transfer case, which we can button up pretty easily tomorrow. I will take these spare rollers off, and we'll go ahead and put the forces back on, because it's been forever since we've actually had street wheels and tires on. It's usually on the slicks. So for the dyno, we're not going to use those. We'll use the all-terrain. So we're gonna get those swapped over. We'll get those bolted on and pretty much leave it up on jack stands until I can fill the transfer case. Gonna make it a little bit easier, and then we'll go ahead and take it off the jack stands. But that is where we are going to wrap up this evening. Definitely took me a little bit longer, kind of by myself doing everything on the ground. But cases like these, I'm almost like, man, it would be really sweet to have a lift. But then you get spoiled. And then next year when we maybe start racing this thing again, if we have to like swap a trans in between rounds or something like that, you got to do it on the ground. So, I mean, it is what it is. No complaints, but I'm glad we got it done, trust me. Putting this trans back in on a Monday evening is probably about the last thing that I really wanted to do. And there she is back on the street tires. We are wrapped up, ready to go for this late, sleepy evening. So hopefully tomorrow won't take us all that long to button up all of these loose ends on the truck. Hopefully we'll be able to get it out and maybe have some daylight, be able to drive the thing. If not, we'll spend some time trying to mock up some intercooler piping on the 12 valve. Either way, it is getting cooler out for sure. I don't know how much longer we're going to have to really drive all of the toys outside. Number one, with the daylight. Number two, spots where it's starting to get water runoff, they're already starting to put salt all over the roads, which I guess it is November, so it is what it is. But anyway, that's gonna do it, guys. I know the energy level is kind of a little bit down here. We're really just trying to knock out things so we can actually use the things, all of the things. But make sure you guys have this Saturday on your calendar. Come out, say hello, say what's up. It's gonna be a good time for sure. Dress a little bit warmer, and that's gonna do it, guys. If you haven't already, go over to wrenchworks.com, grab your stuff before we end that, and you might not be able to get it. We want to make sure we get everything to you in time for the holidays, for Christmas, so we got to do it now. Thank you guys as always for watching. Love you guys. Hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.